It's me, Vikram Subedi from Pokhara. I'm an English teacher. I'm going to teach you English. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you all for you have successfully passed grade 8 basic level examination and have recently come to this class. Perhaps this is your first day class. Therefore, in today's class, I am going to talk about the test module and specification grade of our English curriculum, right? Secondary school curriculum, English curriculum, compulsory English that we are talking about is based on language skills and aspects. Unlike the grade of the other core subjects, language skills are considered as different areas of learning here. Language skills, that means listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill, and writing skill. Okay, these skills are considered as different areas of learning. The examination grade of this course reflect the assessment system, how to evaluate, how to assess the students' achievement is a part of curriculum. And this specification grade that I'm going to discuss in today's class does not help the teachers to prepare the test items. It is not only for the benefit of the teachers, but it is equally important for the students because you have to prepare for the test. So it not only provides the guides for us, the test paper designers, but it equally helps you to prepare for the test. What type of questions will be asked, from where the questions will be asked, how to prepare for the better marks. It is quite supportive for you too. So in today's class I'm going to try my best to make you a clear understanding of the specification grade of grade 9 and 10. The same specification grade is followed in grade 10. It means that up to grade 8 it is basic level, and grade 9, 10, 11 and 12 it is the secondary level now. Therefore, secondary level grade 9 and 10 English curriculum we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay, let me start. As I already told you, look at this. The language skills. The language skills, these are the language skills. Listening skill, speaking skills, reading skills, and writing skills. And I have shown the marks allocation is also there. Listening skills cover 10% of the marks, right? 10 marks out of 100, 10 marks. And speaking skills that covers 15% of the marks, that is 15 marks. 15% of the marks, 15 marks, because it is out of 100. If you sum up all these 10, 15, 40 and 35, if you sum up, that is 100. Therefore 10%, 10 mark, right? So reading skills cover 40% of marks and writing skills cover 35% of the marks. And I'll give you some detail about these skills and assessment system as well. Okay, So let's go through the listening skill first. The purpose of testing this skill is to find whether the students have obtained the learning outcomes of listening mentioned in the curriculum. Okay, their specific objectives are mentioned in the curriculum, and the main purpose of taking this test is to measure whether you have achieved those specified objectives or not. And the test item will be designed to test the listening construct. Is, look at this here, what we test. The test is designed to measure listening for the gist, whether you can pick up the gist from the listening, uh, some text, some stories, and even from the communication as well. And the next is listening for specific information. Third one, listening for the main ideas. You listen to something else, some audios, and then whether you will be able to pick out the specific information from there or not. Whether you will be able to take out some gist from there or not. And finally, listening for deducing the meaning, whether you understand or not what is said, what is heard, right? These things are measured in listening skills. And similar to that, in speaking skills, the purpose of testing this skill is to find whether the students have obtained the learning outcomes of speaking mentioned in the curriculum or not. So the test item, while taking your test, the teachers notices these features, whether how is your pronunciations, whether you have followed certain your stress and intonations, fluency, appropriacy, accuracy, and clarity of expressions. These qualities are measured. Your examiners notices these qualities. And now remember, listening and speaking. This cover the practical part of the test. Listening 10%, speaking 15%, altogether 25%, that is practical, and that is held at your school, and that is taken by your teachers, right? And then after we enter to the next other two skills. For those skills, examinations are designated. You have to go to the centers to take the tests, right? So reading skills, the main purpose of reading test is to find whether the students have achieved the learning outcomes specified by the curriculum. And in reading, almost what percent of the marks is covered by reading? What percent? 40% marks is covered by reading, isn't that? So, to test your readings, this is what I like to focus you more, give more emphasis to, because it covers 40% of the test papers, right? And to cover the 40% of the marks, some 15 marks questions, right? that will be asked from the scene text from your textbook. And the rest of the marks, 25%, will be asked from out of your textbook. And the 40% marks, out of the 40% marks, 15%, right? 15 marks, 15%, right? 15 marks questions, I mean, will be asked from your textbook. Two questions, question number 1 and question number 2. Poetry and prose, both will be included, right? And the main objective of those reading test item is to find out whether you will be able to do these things, reading for the gist, reading for the specific information, reading for the main ideas, and so on, right? And the next is the final skills, that is writing skill. Uh, the purpose of testing writing skill is to test, judge, measure whether the students have become able to meet those objectives specified in the curriculum. And in this section, this is also important section, right? Because you write in the test papers, right? That is writing, testing, writing. So what is measured, what is considered, what is taken into care during the written test? Suppose you write some paragraphs, essays, stories, describing pictures, charts, diagrams, you write paragraphs. And while evaluating, judging, examining your paragraphs, the teacher consider these things. See, so organization, coherence and cohesion, relevance of the context, appropriateness of the context, and grammaticality, grammatical accuracy, and style, layout, format, the orthographic conventions, handwriting, spelling, and pronunciation. These things are considered while examining your test papers. Right? Now see, so this is what I discussed, the specification grid in surface. Right? Now you are very much clear that 25% practical, that covers 10% listening and 15% speaking, and reading, that covers 30% of the marks. Four text will be asked, they will be given to read, and after the text there will be some test items, and 2 scene and 2 on scene, and 2 scene text will be asked from your textbook, right? And 2 on scenes from outside the textbook. And writing skills, essays, stories, describing pictures, describing events, these sorts of areas will be covered. This is what we sum up with the specification grid. And now I like to talk about how you should attempt the tests, right? I like to, being the first day, I like to give some tips to you for the preparation of the test 2. So let's go. Some tips about, let's talk about some tips how to secure good marks in the examination. What preparations can we do, or what alertness is necessary for the better marks in the examinations. So although I cannot go in detail, let me talk about some major points regarding the test 2. Okay, please read the heading, that is enough for you. It says, Before reading the text, read the problems given at the end. Yes, what does this teacher say? You may be surprised to hear this. What I say, before reading the text, read the problems given in the end. Means, yes, many students read the text and go to the test items. Mostly, what do I like to suggest to you is that if you read the test items first, that will help you to build up the mind, right? And sometimes it helps or it supports us to to grab the meaning of the text as well. So first read the test items, I mean the questions first. Hmm? Because there will be a varieties of questions, matching items, true false items, fill in the blanks items, question answers, ordering. While going through all those items, you get some points. You can make up your mind about what is the text about, what is it talking about, right? So it will be easier for you to find out the answer. Okay. So let's see the next one. For the second, read what is written over there. If you could not understand the text for the first time while reading, you may feel some vocabulary items difficult, that are not much familiar to you. You are not much familiar with those vocabulary items, some sentence structures that may create problem in understanding the text, right? While going for the first time, do not forget to underline the words where you feel difficulty, right? Then after, it will be easier for you to deduce the meaning, right? What could be the possible meaning of the word, right? We can grab, we can pick out, or we can think about the possible meaning of the word, right? Therefore, while going through the text, please underline the words that you feel difficult, right? And that will help you. And if you do not understand the text, please do not hurry up, go for the second time, and please guess the possible meanings. Guess the possible meanings of the difficult words in the context, right? And that helps you to pick out and guess the correct answer. And the next is, this is the very important tip for you. Search the answer on the following base. What is the base? How do we search the answers? Many students, they randomly go through the text and do not plan what they are searching for, right? Search the specific information, right? That will be good. Search for the specific information, and this says the same thing. Suppose the question is where do you live, where was somebody from, that begins with where. You only search for the place, because only the place can be answer of the question that begins from where, right? So do not give importance to other aspects. You only search the place when that are given in the text, right? Similarly, if the question begins from when, then you only search the time. Ignore all those things. What is given, what comes over there, because your answer is only time. So underline the time, search the time, and some keywords that will help you to find which among many times given in the text, which time is closer to the question, right? And then if the question is begins from what, so it requires the thing or information for its answer. So every time search for the specific information, right? Every time. So do not give importance to all those things, all the things given in the text. First read the question and what you are searching for: place, time, some things or information, reason or purpose. If the question begins with from why, if it is why question, the answer is either the reason or the purpose. So do not give importance to place, time, and all those things, right? So these tips, if you follow these tips, uh, it will be very easier for you to find the answers in the text, right? And now let's go to the next one. Follow the tense and structures of the questions. For your support, I have designated two questions over there. Read the first question. How are the school children spending their school? How are the school children spending their after school time? The question is, how are the school children spending their after school time? And read the second question. The second question also says, how do school children spend their after school time? The meaning, both the question are asking for the same answer, right? The same information. And the answer is same information for both the question. But look at the tense structure of the question. The first question is asked in the continuous tense, so you have to answer in the continuous tense. Question: how do school children spend their after school time? Your answer begins with the school children spend their after school time, like this, isn't that? So what is the difference? In the first you said the school children are spending. The question is in continuous tense, your answer is in the same tense. And the second question, that is in the present simple tense, and your answer also should be in the present simple tense. Is it clear? So keep in your mind the same thing. Your answer should follow the tense structure of the question, right? Now see the next point. Attempt the objective types of questions first. It says, right? Attempt the objective types of questions. Objective types of questions, I mean to say the objective questions like true, false, fill in the blanks, ordering, matching, these types of questions. Why do I like to recommend you this idea, to follow this idea is that look at these test items. I have taken some these examples from some test papers, right? The first fill in the blanks with the correct words. The number of required posts is blah blah blah, right? And the second test item is blah blah is the required qualification, and the third, the last date to submit the application is blah blah blah. These are the objective questions. These are just for the examples. And let's see the questions, question answers part. When to apply for the post? Where is the company located? How much is the remuneration? Right. These are the short questions. Now, do you find any relation between these questions? A clever student can easily notice. A clever student can easily notice the relation. What is the first question? When to apply for the post? When, that means that requires time, answer. And the last date to submit the application is, that also requires the answer, time. Possibly both the questions might be requiring for the same point, right? And that more than that, if you go through true false items, matching items, fill in the blanks items, sometimes the answer of the questions can be found in those objective items. Therefore, be careful about it, right? And now we have come to the last point. Now, that is while solving vocabulary items, you should keep in mind that the meaning should be adjective to adjective. If the test item is in the adjectival form, your answer also should be in the adjectival form. Noun to noun, adverb to adverb, right? Adjective to adjective. So we keep this thing in your mind. And while solving the last point, it is very important. Many students, what do they do? It is my experience too. The test item is true false. Many students answer their questions like this: A to T, B, F, C, T, like this. So it is not acceptable, right? And even in the fill in the blanks, they just write the missing word, right? So that is also not acceptable. While solving objective types of questions, you first write this statement. Write the statement and mention whether it is true, whether it is false. Right. Similar to that, while filling up the blanks, right, write the whole sentences and underline the word you have inserted, you have put there, right? And ordering items, the following sentences are in correct order. Write first and then put the sentences in correct order. Do not write it 1, 5, 2, 4 like this. That is not supposed to be good. And do not neglect these. Although these are very ordinary things, you may feel common, but many students neglect these things and they lose marks, they lose points in the exam. And finally, last but not the least, make your copy neat and clean with good handwriting, right? I have already said your handwriting is also considered in your test paper. Who does not like beauty? We all love and like beauty. So your answer sheets should look beautiful and attractive, so you can win the heart of the examiner and get better points. Make your handwriting neat and clean, follow the lining system, and after completing the certain group of answers, like completing the fill in the blanks, then lining, so it looks attractive. Finally, you check whether you have solved all the test items or not, right? Then if you follow these hints, right, these tips, certainly I hope that you will do better in your test and get better positions, better marks in your test results. Okay, with this I like to stop my class for today, and tomorrow in the next class I will start with lesson 1. Okay, thank you everyone.